Alrighty, welcome back to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast. I'm your host E here, and we recently, our last segment, we touched on just basically all the wrestling news that kind of happened on Thursday that's happening today. We have NXT Level Up, we had Ring of Honor yesterday, and we also have TNA Impact. And both shows were very, very good from what I saw from the highlights and stuff like that. But NXT's kind of Level Up is happening as we speak. So if you want to catch it, hit Peacock, but don't leave this podcast. Stay on this podcast, But if keep, like I said, keep like a little side phone, maybe like a little kind of like a tablet or whatever, just something that'll kind of help you stream it. Wrestling is an addiction, ladies and gentlemen, and your boy E here has it to like the max. All right. So before we, go any further, we get questions from viewers that come in during the show. So to ensure your question gets read on air, I beg you to use the tips and donations link at the gsmcspodcast.net with your questions. This puts your questions to the top of the list so I can see it. And also, it really helps the show. We love positive feedback. All feedback is a gift, but positive feedback is, obviously more welcome because who wants to know they suck? I hope I don't suck. I'm just kidding. Uh, tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like, give me your opinions, tell me things you want me to further, elaborate on. We're all wrestling fans here. Y'all my wrestling peeps. Um, so I know we are a special brand and we like it, we like our wrestling. We're very particular, human folk, but although we are very, very simple. So I don't know. I love all my wrestling peeps out there. Um, Also, it really helps the show. Again, the link is the gsmcpodcast.net. So, share a link, share a question. I would love to speak to you guys. All right. So, moving on to segment two, we have our SmackDown preview. So SmackDown, like I said, is going to be live in Memphis, Tennessee. That's my best, accent. If you don't like it, I understand. Just don't get angry. Okay. Moving on to the SmackDown because SmackDown is going to be the next couple of three SmackDowns are going to be totally lit, ladies and gentlemen, because this is building up toward WrestleMania. So essentially, you have to have these WrestleMania like caliber promos just completely overflowing your screen on the Fox network, which is absolutely awesome, especially as a wrestling fan. I'm excited, to watch SmackDown. I'm excited. I get excited watching all of wrestling. I love wrestling, and I know you guys do too. So let's all do this together. Let's all band, and let's create this wrestling society where you all can share your questions and comments on the link. And I don't know. Let's just talk about wrestling. This is what I'm here for. Tune into the Wrestling Laureate podcast every day. I'll be here. I'm your man. You can always count on this guy. Um, but that's I love wrestling, and I know you guys do too. I guess that's the main goal of this little rant, and it makes sense. It makes sense. I'm just kidding. But all right, SmackDown. Let's focus on SmackDown. Eric's focus on SmackDown. So something big's gonna happen with Logan Paul tonight. I don't think they're gonna wait till next week because I feel like you need 2 weeks to kind of build this momentum toward the triple threat match that I thought and that I really, really think that's gonna happen between Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, and the United States champion, sensation Logan Paul. And I think it's gonna be awesome. Like, um, it's gonna be a good match. Um, I think I'm just kind of wondering how the writing in WWE is gonna kind of have Kevin Owens and Randy Orton going at it. Last week you saw Randy Orton take a swing at Logan Paul with the brass knuckles, and Logan Paul ducked. He dived out of the ring, and Kevin Owens kind of saw that punch coming his way, and he was like, "Whoa, like, are we gonna do this, man? Like, we both hate this kid." you know, why are we trying to fight each other? But then they fist bumped each other, and it was all good. But so it should be interesting to see if I myself can kind of devise a story plan. Hmm. Um, maybe that classic WWE where there's like a where they tag together Kevin Owens and Randy Orton, which they already have, to fight Austin Theory and Grayson Waller one more time. But maybe like Austin Theory goes for like a clothesline or a spear, and then Orton ducks out of the way, but then Kevin Owens gets hit, and then he's like, "Hey, like what the hell?" Like I don't know. They need to make this triple threat match happen. I don't know how they're gonna do it. I don't know what way they're gonna do it, but I think it just needs to happen, and that's probably honestly for the United States Championship. You have the talent of Randy Orton, the Viper, and you also have Kevin Owens fight and YouTube sensation Logan Paul. I think that's a WrestleMania Night One main event, caliber match. But of course, it's going to be the tag team match between Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns and The Rock. But I don't know. I think if they make this match happen, it can draw a lot of heads. So I don't know. It's also moving on. Um, it's kind of interesting to see how this damage control storyline is going to play out. Like, to be honest, Io Sky is, talented athlete, absolutely great women's champion. She was amazing in NXT. She was amazing in damage control on the SmackDown roster, Raw roster. But, like, I'm trying to think of a world or like a predicament where Io Sky retains the championship and who would be her next challenger. I don't know. Like, in terms of being a WWE writer, like that solution would kind of lead to more questions as opposed to stemming to like multiple storyline sources. But if Bailey becomes the champion, you have a lot of people that would probably want a piece of Bailey. Like I can see Bailey winning and Charlotte Flair coming out the next week wanting a piece of Bailey, or um perhaps someone from NXT makes their way up to try to challenge Bailey, or maybe Dakota Kai, be like, "Oh, you destroyed, or you beat Io Sky, but now I want a piece of you." Or Liv Morgan coming on to the show, or Alexa Bliss coming back in Cleveland, her hometown in Ohio, to challenge Bailey. Obviously, they have a past, Bailey and Alexa Bliss, so I think that would be pretty dope to kind of set for the books for August 3rd, SummerSlam, the biggest party of the summer in Cleveland, Ohio. So I think that would be pretty dope. Also, you kind of have the Bobby Lashley and the Karrion Cross feud kind of blowing up, and it's ready to kind of set sail on, I don't know, just something. Like the past couple of weeks, they've just been beating the hell out of each other. They've been interfering in each other's matches. Enough's enough. I'm very interested to see how WWE is gonna like kind of. They need to make a match stipulation to where AOP and Karrion Cross, the Final Testament, are fighting the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley, but this kind of needs to be like something crazy, something super crazy for WrestleMania. I suggested a Hell in a Cell, which would be pretty cool. I think a Hell in a Cell match would be ideal, but Hell in a Cell matches ever since they kind of have developed that Hell in a Cell pay per view, I know they kind of saved that type of matchup for that kind of pay per view, so I really don't see that kind of happening that way. Um, Perhaps, oh man, I would say like a War Games match. Imagine like a War Games match. That would be so cool, but that's not gonna happen, unfortunately. So you'll probably see something like a no holds barred, or maybe like a TLC match between the competitors. I can imagine Montez Ford with the kendo stick, just like beating the heck out of a con, you know, the one of the AOP members. I almost said Akon. I don't know why, but Rizar. Like I know they have some weird names, but you know, um, Bobby Lashley, as I keep like mentioning on the show that I don't know, I think he deserves more. I want to see Bobby Lashley in that heavyweight category. I'm sorry. Like as a WWE fan, I'm not satisfied with where my boy Bobby is right now. Like y'all need to take care of this guy. This guy's a retired like army vet. Like he's been with the company so long. Um so long. Oh man. I don't know. I just think it's time for him to finally just put a real strap on him as opposed to like he did have the WWE championship, but I just felt like during the pandemic and during wrestling during that time, especially during the WWE, they kind of just had placeholders for the championship match. Like you had Drew McIntyre, and Drew McIntyre is a phenomenal athlete, but I felt like since they kind of had that coronavirus pandemic, where there were limited superstars, where there weren't that many people allowed on site in the stadium, or like around the squared circle itself. I remember watching like for me, and this is how much of a wrestling fan dork I am, is it never really dawned on me that the coronavirus pandemic was taking place until Triple H came out in a just a fanless arena. It was dead. And he basically said, due to the pandemic, we and to protect our superstars, our fans, and the WWE universe, we have decided to perform in, empty buildings essentially. And I remember when that happened, I kind of was like, whoa, like there's nobody out in the crowd. Like this is crazy. Like if Triple H says it's a big deal, like I know like the president says something, but it's Triple H, I'm sorry, that's but I don't know. Moving on, we have AJ Styles kind of teasing LA Knight, kind of like tormenting him, kind of showing promos and stuff like that he wants a piece of the LA Knight. I think this match is going to be pretty darn good. LA Knight he's so over with the WWE crowd, and AJ Styles right now is like he's not really into that championship category or like the storyline, which kind of sucks because I know AJ can kind of hold up that kind of thing. But I don't know. It'd be nice it would have been so cool to see AJ Styles like challenge Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship match. But hey, I'm not a writer. If WWE wants to hire me, you know where to find your boy E here on the GSMC Wrestling Laureate podcast. Hanging out with his wrestling peeps. But it should be cool. I think this is going to be a good storyline of how they kind of finish up things here. Um, the LA Knight is very gifted. He has the crowd on his side. He knows how to just like kind of vamp up an arena, kind of get people into it, kind of people get people into the wrestling spirit. And there's not a lot of people that could do that like the LA Knight. And AJ Styles, he had his fallout with Carl Anderson and basically the rest of the Bullet Club. But I I think AJ Styles right now he might be heading on his way out of the WWE, heading toward AEW or New Japan or Ring of Honor or TNA, which he was pretty popular in TNA. But I know he also he has a contract signing that he has to do with wrestling or with WWE. But I don't know. We'll see how that goes. And in terms of the Bloodline storyline, there's not really much to kind of further talk about. This is huge. This is a huge storyline. I'm not trying to diminish the value of this storyline, but I don't know. I just feel that right now you kind of have Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. I think the storyline will kind of take off more as soon as the match is done in night one. But I kind of, when Michael Cole asked Cody Rhodes, could he trust Seth Rollins after everything he said about wanting to beat Roman Reigns? Seth Rollins injured Cody Rhodes when Cody Rhodes made his return back to the WWE, and Seth Rollins was that heel, that the visionary. It should be interesting to see how this all unfolds because, like, I'm a Seth Rollins fan, and if I was in Cody's shoes, I probably wouldn't really trust anybody. But then again, the reason why he kind of let Seth accept the match was that he wants a fair shot at Roman. And if he had a fair shot at Roman last Mania, he would be the Universal, WWE champion at this time. But I don't know. Only time will tell, ladies and gentlemen. So don't go anywhere. Our next segment, we have our wrestling news round robin. We're going off into the weekend. Kind of just like news that every wrestling fan should kind of know. The mostly the major ones that I've read online that I've kind of got notifications on via social media. So stick around. It should be a good one.